Hello, and thank you for stopping by. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. If you are not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when new videos arrive. Question: why does anybody live where they live at? A city like Seattle or New York, San Francisco or Los Angeles are extremely expensive. So why does people live there? Now, New York I can understand because it's the Big Apple. And for aspiring models, fashion industry, writers, and for Broadway musicals and things of that nature, Seattle is probably the place to go for up-and-comers. For people that have a dream and they want to latch onto that and take a bite out of the Big Apple. I can understand that. Los Angeles, yeah, kinda. It's Hollywood. People want to live there because they have dreams of making it big. They have dreams of becoming a writer for Hollywood, a movie actor, or they have aspirations of being a musician. They have loads and loads of studios there that you can go and be a part of. They've got clubs up and down the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles. Of course, it's not nearly as popular and as glamorous as it was back in the 80s, but they still want to be there. And for San Francisco, the Bay Area, the scenery. Although San Francisco is getting very overcrowded, people still are flocking there, and I don't know why. Now, I can understand if you're rich. I can understand if you're making a lot of money and you want to live there. That's cool. I get it. I do. If you've worked hard all your life and you've acquired substantial amounts of money and you want to live where you want to live at, and you consider that to be your home, then that's fine. I totally understand that. But Seattle doesn't really have a whole lot to offer. I mean, what, are you moving to Seattle to become an aspiring technical engineer, software development person? For me, Seattle is totally different. I fell in love with Seattle back in the early 90s when I first got there. I did not move to Seattle. I took a girl back to her mom and dad's house from Topeka, Kansas. And on my way to Los Angeles, I kind of was beckoned by Seattle, and she asked me to stay. And I did. Now, other people move to Seattle for different reasons, and other people are in Seattle for totally different reasons than anybody else. You've got family that's got roots there. You've got family, and that's all you know is Seattle, so you stay there and you try to make the best of it. But you've got a lot of people that have came to Seattle and acquired wealth. It's sort of like the gold rush. Sutter's Fort, to be exact. I don't know how many people remember Sutter's Fort, but this was back in the 1800s in California when the gold rush hit. Sutter found gold on his property, and he tried to keep it a secret. It was his property, and he wanted to keep the gold secret. But word got out by some greedy people that worked for Sutter. They weren't happy with just acquiring a piece of the cake. They wanted the whole piece of cake instead of just a slice of the pie. So they tended to let everybody know. People swooped in on Sutter's fort or Sutter's property, and therefore Sutter's gold was all dug up. I mean, it's like the whole property was destroyed by people that didn't care about the property. All they cared about was the gold they were going to get. That reminds me a lot of Seattle. People come to Seattle because they think that Seattle can offer them the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Wherever they're at in the United States or in other countries, there's a rainbow that starts there. And they think the pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow in Seattle. They think that's where the rainbow lands for them. Now, I was reading an article today about a couple that moved to Italy from Seattle. They were talking about the fact that it was just getting too expensive to live in Seattle and that they could move to Italy, into a particular town, and they could live on $3,000 a month there. And I'm thinking, wow. Now, they didn't say if that's all they get each month. They did say that they were retired, and they did say that that they could live there on about $3,000 a month, and they named off some of the expenses they had. And I got to thinking, $3,000 a month. There's people that are on SSI and Social Security. There are people that work a regular job that don't make $3,000 a month, but they're in Seattle. So I want to know, do you love Seattle enough to just be in Seattle? Not be able to do nothing, not be able to go anywhere. Oh yeah, there's probably some things you can do, such as maybe take a ferry boat, or maybe you could go to the top of the Space Needle and look around. I mean, there's some stuff. They've got restaurants you could probably go out and eat that are relatively inexpensive, because let's face it, no matter if it's a rich city or not, there's always that Taco Bell, or there's always that Burger King floating around. Not everything is exclusively rich, because there is some poor people that live in their city and they want that money as well. So in Seattle, you have people that are just getting by. They're surviving. Now, why would a person want to live in Seattle and just survive? Is Seattle that great that you would be willing to live there in a cardboard box if you needed to, just to be able to be in Seattle? Or are you stuck? Now, some people can't afford to move. They want to move to a cheaper place in the United States, which is very slim. And if you do move to a place that's cheaper, it's going to be in an area that has absolutely nothing to really offer. And for people that like that type of lifestyle, then that's cool. If you like that type of lifestyle, then yeah, go for it. But there's going to be a lot of people that can't handle small towns. Now, I talked to my mom a while back. She lives in a small town in Missouri. And I told her, Mom, I want to move back home. I want to get an apartment in town. And I want to move back home and be with you, Allison, and the grandkids. Now, my sister lives in New Orleans. She loves a big city, and New Orleans is not huge. It's kind of huge like Seattle huge. It's not like San Francisco huge, or New York huge, or Los Angeles huge, but it's big. It's bigger than the town my mom lives in by a long shot. Now, my mom told me, oh, you wouldn't like it here. See, I'm remembering the town that I grew up in from the last time I was there. And due to circumstances that are beyond my control, I have not been able to see my mother in almost, well, it's been since 1985 since I've seen my mother. I talk to her on the phone, and I write her letters and stuff, but I have not been able to go back there. And I got nostalgic, and I wanted to move back home. And Mom said, no, you would not like it here. And plus, you'd be under my feet all the time, which is true. My mom makes a really delicious chicken and dumpling, and she makes a very good hamburger. So, yeah, I would probably be over there every day, because I love to cook too. So I'd probably be over there every day with my mom cooking. And my mom wouldn't want me under her feet like that. So she said, no, just live your life. Call me on the phone. We don't really need to see each other. And I could tell it hurts for my mom not to be able to see me. Because, see, me and my sister were adopted when we were very little. I was 6, and my sister was supposed to be 5 she was just turning 5 when I turned 6. Somehow she managed to become a year younger as years went by. I don't understand that, but that's how my sister sees it, and maybe I'm seeing it wrong. But I thought my sister was born at a certain time, and she's saying that she was not born at that time. And so we were adopted when we were very little due to our birth parents' inability to take care of us. And I'm not faulting my birth parents. My mother had really bad mental issues, and my father was a United States Marine Corps. He was in the United States Marine Corps. He was a lifer. So he didn't want to take me and my sister from base to base and bring us around. So he put us up for adoption to a family. And I have not seen my mother, my adopted mother. I have not seen my adopted mother since 1985. So it pains me not to be able to go back there, but she lives in an area where if I took a cab from a major airport, it would cost me $200 to get there and $200 to get back. Or an Uber would cost me about $180 one way just to get to my mom's, and then another $180 to get back. And I cannot really afford that. My mom understands that, and she knows. If she did Facebook, it'd be great. I could FaceTime her and we could see each other on video, but she doesn't do any of that. So back to what I was saying about Seattle. Seattle, if you cannot afford to move, and a lot of people can, especially poorer people, people that are on low income, people that are on SSI, Social Security, you cannot afford to stay there, but you cannot afford to move either. You do not have that luxury. There's a lot of people that are moving to Seattle and they realize that it's not as great as they thought. They didn't do their due diligence and they didn't check to see what the prices were, what the housing market was like. They didn't call to find out if apartments were available. They just packed up their stuff and they moved to Beverly Hills, sort of. So they get there, they find out that they've got to maybe stay in a bed and breakfast or whatever those housing things are, where you pay so much a night or you pay by the week until you can get an apartment, or you've got to get an apartment shared with somebody, or you're renting out a room in somebody's house and you're paying $1,000 a month for the ability to share a bathroom and a kitchen because you did not weigh the cost of moving. And then you get there and you find out you've got to take a regular job because the job you wanted isn't available because there's too many people. For every job, there's probably about 100 people trying to get that job. And you find out that it's not exactly what you expected. Now, am I down on people that move to Seattle? No, as long as it's for the right reasons. And what I say by the right reasons is you want to move to Seattle because you love Seattle and that's where you want to live, as opposed to going to Seattle just because that's where the job is at. And when the job is gone, you split and the rest of us get stuck doing the dishes. If you know of anybody that's moved to Seattle recently, or you've moved to Seattle and you've got a war story or you've got a good story, everybody's got stories. If you've got a really good story or you've got a bad story and things didn't work out for you, put it in a comment below. If you moved to Seattle and it worked out for you and you found that pot of gold at the end of your rainbow, put that in the comment below as well. Because we would love to hear from you. And when I say we, that's why I call it We Solutions, because we, you and I, are working on making tomorrow better than yesterday by doing the very best we can today. And if you want to give my video a like and a thumbs up, do so. If you want to hit the subscribe button, please do that as well. Hit the notification so you can be notified of when new videos arrive. Also, if you have an idea for a better video that you would like me to do, or you know how to make my channel better to where it's more palatable to the masses, please put that in the comment as well. I can use your help. This isn't called We Solutions for nothing. I can't do it all by myself. We're in this together. Have a good morning, America, and all points beyond.